Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn. First of all, I hope you're all surviving the heat wave up there in Washington. I was just spent a week up there, and hope it's cooling down for y'all. And more importantly, I hope you all got your lunch vouchers and are able to enjoy your lunch at your desk this afternoon as we talk about the exciting topic of workers' comp and the group retro program by 501c Agencies Trust. A couple housekeeping before I get into the bulk of the program. We will have a recording of this presentation that I will be able to email out either this afternoon or tomorrow. So if you want to share this with other colleagues, you will have access to that. And I will also include a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. So take notes as you eat your lunch and enjoy, but also know that you will be getting this information later today or tomorrow. And one other thing, I'm not sure how long this was advertised for. I'm guessing the presentation will take about 30 minutes. So that just helps you plan the rest of your day. If you blocked an hour, then you can just maybe sit in your air-conditioned office a little extra time. So I am going to go ahead and get started. First, quick introduction of myself. My name is Heidi Posada. You can see between photo time and today I had a little bit of a haircut. And I have been at 501c Agencies Trust for a little over 12 years. And I do also like to introduce Hunter, who is newly appointed as our customer satisfaction K9. I do include him because many times I'm working from home and he likes to he always seems to ignore me all day until I start talking on a webinar, and then he seems to make himself known. So I like to share who he is. So he won't be joining us today as I'm in my real office, but if we work together in the future, you might get to meet him live on camera. So that is me, and a little bit about 501c Agencies Trust. Today's topic is the Washington State Retro Program, which is one of the programs we launched in 1991. We actually started in 1982 managing unemployment for reimbursing employers. And we do have deep roots in Washington. From our start in 1982, we actually had our own trust for Washington state nonprofits that merged together. So some of you might be familiar with that history of us, but we have been serving Washington nonprofits since 1982 with unemployment, and again 1991 with our retro group. So today, although some of you might be familiar with our unemployment program, today's focus is our retro group. And we're going to talk just briefly what a retro group is, and then also discuss some important factors when choosing a retro group. We're going to talk specifically about 501c Agencies retro group and how to qualify for the group, and then also some responsibilities you as an organization would have if you did become a member of the group. So first of all, I know some of you might not be familiar with what a retro group is, or I've talked to some people that are newer, have recently moved to Washington and are trying to wrap their head around what this workers' comp setup is in Washington. And that is because you're pretty unique. If you're someone that's familiar with Oregon or California or most other states, you're more used to a competitive field when it comes to purchasing your workers' comp. Washington State is one of only 4 states that runs the whole workers' comp system through labor and industry. So although they're running it, there's not a competitive field for it. There is a way to save money, to be rewarded for keeping your workplace safe. So not only for the benefit of your employees, you can also save some money by doing that. So one thing I do want to make sure is understood is as a member of a retro group, you still pay the premium to the state of Washington. So that is something that never that never changes. The premium, the state of Washington Labor and Industries will always charge you a premium based on your experience, and so that doesn't change. And your experience rate doesn't necessarily change, although I'll talk a little bit about how that potentially does as a member of the retro group. But you'll still get your bills from, if you join a retro group, you still do get those bills from L&I, and you still pay that premium. Oops, frozen to speed. I think that was, okay. So retro group is a unique way that the state came up with, I believe, right around 1991 when we started. And it is the only way for Washington companies, Washington nonprofits to receive refunds for their workers' comp. It is possible to do this on your own without being a part of a group. To the best of our knowledge, the only companies that would do that is something like Amazon or Boeing or maybe Microsoft. You really have to be very large in payroll in order to carry a retro on your shoulders on your own. So this is really, by joining a group, is really the only way to receive refunds. And the way the refunds are calculated is you're going to look at the group. So say, I'm just going to make up a number. Say our group has 100 members and the total premium of that group is $1 million. And of that $1 million, say we paid $500,000 collectively in claims. So L&I is going to look at that. They're going to say they paid $1 million, $500,000. The difference is $500,000. So they give 501c agencies a portion of that. They don't give us the whole difference, but they do give us a portion of that difference back. And then we are given the joy of distributing that refund to our members. And this year was very exciting. Total since 1991, we've been able to refund our members over $23 million. And this year specifically, we just got the check. It was funny, I just mentioned it to our finance person and I said, I hear we got a big check. And she said, yeah, I have a $3.2 million check in my, it's going to the bank right now. So, so that means out of our around 200 members, we'll be distributing a portion of that $3.2 million back to them. So retro groups, we are the only retro group that's specific to nonprofits. I do understand that there are other retro groups out there, and so we really encourage you to understand some important factors to consider when choosing a retro group. The group is based on the performance is based on the entire group's experience. And the refunds are based on that experience. So really, group management is key to controlling costs and minimizing claims. And what this all comes back to is that example I gave just a minute ago. If your group is paying, say the flip of what I said, say your group pays $500,000 in premium, but has $1 million in claims, the group can actually be assessed a penalty. So there is that risk of a penalty. So it's very important that you join a group that is monitoring the members, monitoring the performance. And for us, we have some guidelines that you have to follow to qualify that I will discuss in a few slides. But there's also, if you fall short of that, if you come in with a rating where you are paying higher claims or higher premium than claims, and then you have a few bad years, you could be asked to leave the group. And that is because we want to make sure that the entire group is benefiting from refunds. So that's not the fun call to make, but we do our best to provide services to get you back in good standing so that you can come back to the group when your claims go down. So a little bit about 501c agencies retro group. We were established in 1991. And again, we are the only retro group that is exclusive for nonprofit agencies. Currently, about 200 agencies participate in the group, and the plan year is October through September. So the reason why we're here today is because of that plan year, October through September. You can join any quarter of the plan year. I do want to tell you that up front. However, joining the full year gives you the highest benefit, because that means when you receive your first full refund, you get the refund for the full year. Well, we have to prorate it if you join mid-year. So really the vast majority of our new members do start in October. In order to start October 1st, the deadline to enroll is September 15th. And so that, I can't believe it's already August. So that is right around the corner. And for us to do an analysis, Elle and I can take up to 2 to 3 weeks for us to get the information we need. So if exploring joining a retro group, joining specifically our retro group, is on your radar, I would definitely suggest making it a priority to get us the authorization, and I will provide a copy of that authorization for you. But make that a priority so that we can do the underwriting and make sure you qualify, and get the ball rolling for you to have all of the paperwork back to us by September 15th. So I did mention we have about 200 members, and here is just a snapshot of some of those members. And again, we have many, many more, but this just kind of gives you an idea of the variety of organizations that qualify for the retro group, the variety that are benefiting from our services. And of course, if you happen to know someone at one of our member agencies, we definitely welcome that you reach out to them and hear directly from the source the benefits of being part of the retro group. But if you don't know someone, fear not, I have got some testimonials for you. Like I said, I am going to email this PowerPoint to you. And so I'm not going to read these testimonials word for word, but Pete from United Way, full disclosure, he's also on our board of trustees, but he has been a long time, his United Way has been a long time member of the retro group, and he promotes us whenever he can. So just a very nice testimonial from him. And then again, also Alan Lesher, who I think this testimonial is a year or two old, to be honest. So at that point, they had received almost $130,000. I'm guessing that's closer to $150,000 based on our recent refunds. So here's a couple testimonials. Again, I'll send this to you so you can read it word for word if you'd like. And share it with all of your colleagues. So part of the retro group is helping you manage your claims, helping you keep your workplace safe. And so we have partnered with ICM, who's based in Lacey, Washington, to help us with the actual managing of your workers' comp claims. Again, they are based in Lacey. They have friends at LNI. They can get on the phone anytime and get questions answered if you have questions about claims. So as a member of the retro group, you do benefit from all of these services. The claims management you're set up with, they can help close out claims. They've talked about incidents or circumstances where they bring someone new on that maybe has a claim that's been open 2 or 3 years beyond what it should have been. So they can help you work with LNI, work with the doctors, the full scope of managing those workers' comp claims. Another big place they work with our members is loss control, so safety assistance. They will do video visits of your workplace. Sometimes, many times, they will also go out to your workplace and do safety checks. They can give quarterly or monthly even tips, workplace safety tips. So if you have all staff meetings or management meetings, they can provide workplace safety tips. So all of that together really helps our members many times reduce their premium even lower than it was when they started. So if I have finance people, this is what you're really interested in. We do have services, we do have refunds, but what's the cost, right? And there is a cost to participate. The administrative fee is 6% of your LNI premium. And with that, our refunds, again, we've returned over $23 million since 1991. And over the last 4 years, the refunds have averaged 11.7%. So you can see, yes, you're paying 6%. You're getting the services, you're getting potential refunds. The last 4 years, it's definitely paid off. This is not including the $3.2 million that we just received. So I anticipate that average refund increasing to well over above 11%. If the way we distribute our refunds, we do have a board of trustees, and they do vote each year how the refunds are distributed. Most years, the goal is to first refund the 6% across the board, and then divide it based on your performance. So if you are an organization that maybe paid exactly for your premium what you paid in claims, you might just get that 6% back. But if you're an organization that paid $200,000 in premium and $20,000 in claims, you might get a 25% refund. So we're really trying to make it benefit to reward those that are contributing the most to our refunds. Another place that we through our services that we really see an impact, and it's not quite as measurable as saying $23 million or $50,000 back to your organization. But another place that we do see a lot of members benefit greatly is after they enroll with the ICM services, there's a discount on premium. So across the board, it's an average of 11%. So if you look at what you're currently paying in your premium, it's likely, I can't guarantee it, but it is likely that premium will decrease. And then the last thing I'd like to talk about is our safety net. This is something that makes our retro group pretty unique, and it's because LNI has maximum penalties that they can assess if our group has a bad year of performance. I think in our history we've had 2 or 3 years of penalties, which you know, if there's a couple organizations that have major injuries, that can happen even with the best of management. What we have done and what our board has decided to do is we take a little bit of our refunds each year and we put it into a reserve account. So our goal is that even if the group gets penalized for a year, that we have the money set aside so you're not paying anything extra. And I believe right now that reserve is set up to fund at least 2 to 3 full years at the maximum penalty. So you're pretty safe as far as the risk and being assessed additional penalties. And there's a pretty good chance of some good refunds if you do enroll in the retro group. So hopefully you're all saying, how do I qualify? This sounds fantastic. First of all, to qualify for our retro program, again, we are the only retro group specific for nonprofits. So you do not only a nonprofit, but you have to qualify as a 501c3, which I believe we checked everyone on today's presentation. I believe you are all qualified for that portion of it. You have to be current with your L&I premium. So if for some reason you owe them money, you'll have to get caught up with that. And then the other two areas, this is really where it comes into the management of the retro group. The first requirement is that your annual premium has to be $15,000 or higher. And the reason for that is because if your premium is lower than that or significantly lower, it's really easy for one minor injury to put your claim above that $15,000 threshold, and therefore putting you in a position where you're costing the group as a whole. So that's the only reason we love the groups. And I always like to say when I talk to someone that we do the underwriting for and their premium is less than $15,000. The good news is, you know, you're already not paying a whole lot for workers' comp. We would love to enroll you in our services and potential refunds, but the good news is you're already a low premium. And the other one is the minimum 2-year loss ratio of 1.0 or below 1.0. And again, that goes back strictly to, we want to make sure that the members that we're bringing in are paying a higher premium than they are in claims, so that they can contribute to our annual refunds. So we do look at that. We're not doing this with a computer and saying yes, yes, no. We do have people look at the numbers. We have the ability to look at more than just 2 years. So if we see that 4 years you were great, then you had one bad year, and then last year you were great again, you could still potentially be included, so or allowed to move forward with enrollment. So we definitely, you know, if you know you had a bad year last year, I would suggest still let's still do the underwriting and let's see where you stand. So there are some responsibilities of our members. Once you enroll, there is a time commitment. You cannot leave mid-year through the retro year. So we don't get many that want to leave. Most, unfortunately, I don't mean to sound like a meanie, but most organizations that do leave our retro group leave because they're no longer performing their end of their responsibilities. And so again, you know, we do say that you have to keep that ratio below 1.0 and commit to that 1 year. In 2017, we also added a kept on salary requirement. And I mentioned this, and if you are interested in moving forward with the retro group, we can certainly provide you more information if you have questions about what this means. At the end of the day, 501c Agencies Trust, along with ICM, has realized that by requiring kept on salary, it has increased the refunds, but it has also helped the individual members who use the kept on salary. So we really believe that this is good for the group as well as the organizations that have to utilize this. And I notice here that one thing I neglected to include is a copy of the authorization form. That is, I'm going to slide back here. We do have an authorization form. I think most of the information that it asks for is likely at your fingertips. We just need that authorization form completed and returned on letterhead if possible, and then we can get that to L&I. Again, it takes us about 2 to 3 weeks, but we can determine if you qualify based on the last 2 bullets here. L&I will provide us with all of that information. Again, it is taking L&I a few weeks sometimes to get us this information. So if this is something you're interested in doing, we do ask that you get that authorization form back to us as quick as possible. And then we can get the ball rolling on the underwriting to determine if your organization qualifies for our retro group. And I will today, if not today, tomorrow morning, get a copy of this presentation as well as the authorization form to you. That the recording might not be quite ready, so I might have to send that at a later date. It doesn't look like I have any questions. If you have a question and you want to put it in the chat box, I can see if I can answer it. Otherwise, I will be individually reaching out to each and every one of you that has attended today. So I would be happy to answer questions on a more one-on-one basis. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. And again, here is my contact information. So if you do want to reach out to me directly, here's how to contact me. Otherwise, I will be in touch with all of you in the very near future. And look at that, I got you even done 4 minutes early. So I hope you all enjoyed the lunch. I hope you found this to be some good information, and I look forward to working with all of you and hopefully doing some underwriting and seeing if we can get you into our retro group. Thank you.